Hi everyone, welcome to Yoga for Fortified Coaching. My name is Claire Gray. I'll be taking your class today. Today's focus in our class is going to be on opening the heart, opening the chest. We'll be working on stretching into our shoulders, our upper back and our chest area. We'll follow that by some vinyasa flow as well. So just a few practical things for today. As always, make sure you've got a nice clear space to do your practice in, that there's not going to be anything to trip or fall over. We do usually mention props as an alternative or an option. So what you can use for this class would be a block. You can use a cushion or a pillow in substitute of that. But for some of our upper body movements, I would recommend, if you can get access to either a yoga strap or a dressing gown cord or anything, because we're going to be doing a few postures where we might not be able to quite reach our hands together. So this or something similar will be really useful for that. So we're going to start by mobilising and warming up a little bit, and we're going to start on our backs today. So if you just take a nice gentle roll down to the mat, taking the head down as well, and we're just going to bring our knees in one at a time and just give them a nice little hug in towards your chest, not lifting the head up at this point, and just having a little roll from side to side, not all the way over, just a bit of a movement, massaging into your lower back. From here, we're going to keep hold of the right knee and we're going to gently lower the left foot either down onto the mat or keep on going, sliding that foot down so you've got your leg flat on the floor, your left leg, and maybe just give that right knee a little bit more of a hug in towards the chest or in towards the right armpit. From here, bring that left knee up, take a hold of it and lower the right leg down so your foot to the mat, or keep on going, taking it all the way down to the legs flat, and then give that left leg a little hug, a gentle pull up and towards the armpit, feeling the stretch in the groin. So as we're doing that, we're just going to start settling our breath, focusing on our yogic breath. So trying, if we can, to breathe in through our nose and out through our nose, sealing the lips up. And try and slow that breathing down, just settling into your practice today. We're going to take the arms now, nice and wide, palms facing upwards, and we're just going to do a gentle spinal twist. So we're going to roll our knees over to the right hand side. If they touch the ground, great. If not, you just go as far as is comfortable. Try and press the shoulder blades into the mat and take a gaze over the left hand. So you've got a nice gentle twist all the way from the top of the neck right down to the base of the spine. Nice and controlled, rolling those knees up through centre. Keep on going over to the left hand side now, seeing how far they go, and taking your gaze now over your right hand. And again, a little bit more of a hip opener now. So we're going to take the right foot and we're going to place that across the left knee, pushing that right knee out, and we're going to reach through the gap, taking hold at the back of the left thigh, and just gently give it a little small for now pull in, feeling that stretch in the right leg, in that outer hip and in that buttock. Try not to hunch up too much, trying to keep your shoulders down gently on the mat if you can. And while we're mobilising, you might want to set yourself an aim, a goal, an intention for the session, something that you're wanting to achieve, something we'll revisit at the end of the class to see if you have met that goal. What is your focus? What is your primary aim of this yoga class? Lowering the left foot down to the mat now, swapping over, so taking the right foot to the mat, the left foot over that right knee, and then gently just reaching in, grabbing hold of the back of the right thigh and giving it a gentle little bit of pressure, bit of a pull in, trying to push out that left knee. and just taking both feet back down to the mat now. So we want to come up and over onto our roll four, so we need to sit up first. So how we're going to do that, we're going to lift up our shins so they're parallel to the ground, take hold of the backs of the thighs, and just have a couple little rocks backwards and forwards on the spot, 3 or 4, and when you're ready, coming up to seated. Spinning the legs round now and coming in to a tabletop position. So the tabletop position, you've got your wrists and shoulders stacked, you've got your hips and knees stacked, your knees are about hip distance apart, and we're going to warm through our spine. So as we inhale, we're going to drop our belly, lift our gaze, curl the tailbone up to the sky, pushing our chest forward, and as we exhale, we're going to arch that back, pulling the belly button up towards the spine, tucking the tailbone under, taking your gaze down between your knees. Inhale, drop the belly, take the gaze up, and try and link this in with your breath if you can. So breathing out, arching the spine, tucking the tailbone, gaze down. And just going through a few cycles of this spine mobilizer, warming up with your breath. So you don't have to be going at the same time as me, just however your breath is flowing. And when you're ready, just come in to stillness. We're going to go into a child's pose. So what we're going to do is going to be a wide-legged child's pose. So we're going to widen our knees to either the side of the mat or off the mat, so nice and wide with them. Bringing the toes together, and we're going to sit down as far as we can onto those heels, and we're going to start walking or sliding our hands forward, reaching out. You might need to take your head to a block or a prop or a pillow, whatever you have, or you might be able to take your head down to the mat. And we're looking here to have those sit bones pushed down on the heels, and a lovely long stretch all the way from those fingertips up the arms, through the shoulders, down the back. From here, we're going to warm up through the sides or stretch through the sides of the body. So we're going to walk our hands over to the left hand side of the mat, keeping the head low, and we're going to put the right hand on top of the left hand, really focusing on pushing that right sit bone down because it very easily comes up, and really feeling that stretch down the right side of the body. And as you breathe, breathe and send that oxygen into that side of the body where we feel this lovely stretch. Walking back through centre now, over to the other side, over to the right, placing the left hand on top of the right. Again, really focusing on keeping that sit bone down on the left hand side. Not trying to lift your armpit up too high. Really feeling that lovely stretch. And coming back through centre, and when you're ready, just gently and slowly coming back up into your tabletop, and then taking a seat, sitting down on your heels if you can. So hopefully we should feel nice and limber now. We're going to go into that yin section where we'll hold postures for a little bit longer. We are probably talking 2 minutes max for each posture, but what I really want you to try and do is to relax into the posture, to take it nice and slowly. Don't jump in far too fast, try to get an extreme stretch. As the time goes on, your muscles might feel softer and looser, you may be able to get into stretches a little bit more. We really need to be not holding tension in our muscles too. If we go in too fast with a stretch, your muscles will inhibit that stretch and they'll contract. We're wanting to work to lengthen the muscles and also work into that connective tissue as well. So try and really consciously to let go, but also when we stretch, we do feel a sensation in our muscles, and we really need to be aware whether that is pain or whether it's just that biting point in the muscle. So listen to your bodies as we're doing this. And as I say, the focus is our upper body. We have done sessions where we've looked at hips, hamstrings and back. So we're gonna go with upper body today. So our first posture that we're going to do is a variation of a child's pose. So we're going to come into a tabletop position just like we did for our warm-up. And in child's pose, we sit back on our heels. We're not going to sit back, we're just going to walk our hands forward, taking our arms out as far as we can. You might get your head down to your mat, or you might require a prop, be it a pillow, cushion, anything under your head, as long as you're making sure those arms are out reaching as far as you can. Your arms are up and over, and you're trying to stretch through those arms, through that chest. Possibly feeling this in your lats as well, but trying not to hold tension in them, just let them go. Trying to prevent the mind from wandering. If it wanders, that's fine. Just bring it back to now. Focus on your breathing. Bringing it back into the room, onto the mat. If your head isn't on the mat, can you work towards that a little bit more? Remember not to push yourself too far. And when we do these long postures, it's really important that when we come out of them, we don't jump out of them dead fast. So we're just going to start gently bringing ourselves back up, walking our hands in, and maybe having a roll around those wrists. So going in one direction and in the other. And come into stillness. We're now going to thread the needle. So this is a movement that we've done when we've stretched out our backs. So many of these are compound, they will stretch and they'll use different muscles. This one will work through your back, but will also work on your shoulders. So what we're going to do is we're going to lift our right hand from the mat, lift it up and swoop it through the gap underneath the right arm, sliding the back of the hand on the mat. Keep on going. If you need to, you can put something under your cheek or under your shoulder if that's as far as you can get, or keep on going, sliding down until the back of your shoulder and your cheek make contact with the mat. Very much feeling the stretch in the upper back and across the shoulder here. Trying to concentrate on your breathing. Where can you feel that in your body? Are you trying to keep your lips sealed shut? Trying to keep that breath smooth with an equal inhale and exhale. when you're ready, again, very gently put your weight through your left hand, bring yourselves up, putting both hands down on the mat, and again, just doing that little rotation in the wrists and the shoulders in one direction over the wrists, taking your weight one way and then in the other direction. And stopping. On the other side now, so we're going to take the left hand, swoop that up, and when you're ready, taking it through the gap behind your right hand and bringing yourself down to that comfortable position. Remembering that could be on a prop, something that's stopping you from getting quite so far down. Still getting a good stretch there, but if you can, taking it so your cheek and your shoulder are making contact with the mat. And everybody experiences good and bad mobility in different parts of the body. So the beauty with these classes is you can pick one which is going to help you or your area where you feel that you do need that extra help or that extra stretching. Just doing a quick scan of your body, making sure that you're not holding tension anywhere unnecessarily. We're all about lengthening through the muscles in this section. And nice and controlled, taking your weight through your right hand, bringing the left hand to the mat, and again, one more time we're going to rotate one direction. So here we'll work on the wrists as well as the shoulders, and then in the other direction. And stopping. Our next posture is going to work through our chest as well as through our triceps, and it's a variation of one we've done a few times. It's our child's pose, but what we're going to do is we're going to do it narrow-legged. So instead of having that wide stance with your knees, keeping them together and sitting back on your heels. From here, walking the hands down and forward, remembering you've got the option of putting a brick or a pillow under your head. If you can, getting your head down to the mat, pushing your sit bones down onto your heels. But from here we're going to take a prayer position with our hands, so putting them together, all of our fingers and thumbs coming together, and we're going to bend those elbows up and bring the hands or the thumbs to the back of the neck. Hopefully straight away feeling it in those triceps. If you want a little bit more, try and edge the elbows a little bit further forward. Don't worry if your thumbs don't make contact with the nape of the neck, just taking us to whatever point feels right for you. Just enjoying this time on your mat, this time to stretch out those muscles that you've probably been working hard on all week. This is your rehab, your recovery time. It'll only make you better and stronger when you come back to other forms of exercise. Now, bringing the hands back down onto the mat, and we're just going to roll up nice and gently. So your triceps should feel lovely about now. We're going to open our chest a little bit more now, and we're going to do a version of a pigeon. So you probably know the pigeon as being something that we do on our legs, but we're going to do it a shoulder pigeon, so an arm version. So I'm going to ask you to roll or just make your way down onto your mat with your arms spread out nice and wide, and we're going to do it on both sides first. So first we're going to take our left hand up next to our shoulder, and we're just going to roll back, bringing the left knee up so you've got contact on the mat with your left knee and your left hand, but that right hand is lay out behind you in a straight line with your palm facing down. So you're feeling a pull in the shoulder and an opening in the chest. And as we are softening into this, you might be able to just rotate a little bit more, not pushing it too far, just so you can feel that pull, that stretch. You move just a tiny bit more, just so we can still keep that little bite point in the muscle. And gently rolling back onto your front, taking both hands back out again, and we're going to go the other way now. So we're going to roll over onto the left shoulder now, pushing with the right hand into the mat and taking the right knee up. If you can, resting your cheek on the floor, feeling that stretch across the chest and the left shoulder this time. And remembering that this isn't just about your body as well, it's about your mind, it's about that time just to get away from everything, just to focus on you, to shut all external distractions out. And you might find, just as we do with the pigeon with our legs, that one side is a lot more bendy, has a lot more stretch in it than others. That is completely natural. It could be just due to genetics, it could be due to any previous issues or injuries that you've had. Just work with your level. And when you're ready, just roll it back onto your front, taking the hands under the shoulders, pushing yourself up, just into a seated position. Sitting back on the heels if that is possible, if that's comfortable for you to do. So this is where we're going to bring our strap or our dressing gown cord or our belt or whatever it is you have into our practice to have a go with. Now you can do without, but I think holding a position for a period of time, having it does really, really help. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our right arm up and bend the hand down between the shoulder blades. So I'll show you this from the back. And then what we're wanting to do is to take the right hand up the back between the shoulder blades. But if we can't get those to meet, having a prop, which we will hold in our right hand and then grab with the left, really does help and allows us to still get exactly the same benefits from this stretch. So we're trying to keep sat nice and upright, trying to get into this posture using your prop, feeling the stretch in the right tricep but also in the left shoulder. What you can do, you have the option to do, you can stay exactly where you are as long as you can still feel a good stretch there, or you can edge your fingers ever so slightly together, working towards being able to hook the hands, hook the fingers together. We do have that in quite a few other postures within yoga. Obviously how close you get all depends on your body makeup and your flexibility in your shoulders. Trying to make it so your head feels like it's been pulled up on a piece of string. We aren't slumping. Our posture's good as we're in this pose. And when you're ready, just gently release on that strap and we'll just rotate a little bit through our back and our shoulders before trying this on the other side. So this time we'll take the left hand up and down our backs, maybe with our strap in it. So it's just like a tricep stretch. You're reaching down between the shoulder blades, but then you take the right hand up and walk up that dressing gown cord or strap till our hands come together, or closer together anyway. So again, keeping that chest up, keeping nice and tall, just like hips. Again, you'll totally feel the difference where one side might have been uncomfortable, the other one feels like a walk in the park. Remembering the option to progressively get closer if you want to work towards that. Just remembering to focus on that breathing in through your nose and back out through your nose. Options to close your eyes. Some people prefer that. Some people find this form of yoga slightly meditative. If that's in your practice, you go for that. And again, we'll just, not too fast, gently release that strap. Brilliant. For our last couple of postures, we are going to come up onto our feet. We don't have very many of these yin poses stood up. But we're going to go into a version of Warrior One for this. So standing at the bottom of your mat, so you've got room in front of you, we're going to step forward with the right foot, nice long step. Turn the back foot, so the front and back are at right angles. We're going to keep a bend in our knee, so we're going to have our knee over our ankle, and we're just going to clasp our hands behind our back, making sure our hips and pelvis are facing over the front knee. You don't have to be too deep in this because we're going to hold it for a minute or so, but very much holding the hands together and pushing the shoulders out if you can. If you cannot reach your hands together, you have the option of using that strap again, just to get them as close as you possibly can. We're going to hold this one slightly shorter period of time as we had the ones down on the mat. But just push your chest up and open across that chest. When you're ready, just release those hands, step the feet back in, have a bit of a sway through the mid-body and the upper back. Coming back to the bottom of your mat, we're going to do a slightly different variation of this. So we're going to step the left foot forward this time, keeping that foot facing forward, the right foot coming at right angles, bending through the knee. So we've got our warrior one, warrior two base, warrior one base with the hips facing forward, sorry. But we're going to clasp our hands together just like we did, but this time we're going to lower ourselves down and lift our arms up, our gaze coming down just to the ground in front of our foot. Again, your option to use a prop to keep the hands as close together as you can. Again, this one is more challenging on your legs as well as your chest and upper body. So we'll hold this one for a slightly shorter period of time. So here I do have my chest next to my knee and my left shoulder's just hovering over my knee. And coming up, releasing the hands, stepping the feet together and taking another twist through the mid body. One final movement we're going to do, coming down onto our knees, onto our mats. We have done in some classes before camel pose, but we're just going to do a scaled down version of that because it can be quite extreme. We're just going to do a gentle back bend and chest opener. So taking the hands to the hips or around the bottom of your back, and we're just going to lean backwards slightly, pushing the chest forward, taking the gaze not all the way up to the ceiling, but slightly upwards. We're nipping the shoulder blades together at the back, which in turn is making us stretch out through our chest. If this causes any discomfort, any pain, especially in the neck, just come out of that posture. It's only meant to be gentle as our final chest or heart opener. And coming back up now and just dropping down to sit on your heels. So that is us through our yin section, so looking at our upper body. As promised, we're going to do a modified or a slightly shorter vinyasa floor section. So coming down to your mats, I'm going to run through with you the 3 levels of the vinyasa. So in vinyasa yoga, what we're doing is we are joining together postures by flow and movement, so we get our heart rate up, our temperature up a little bit, burn a few calories, but also we're still stretching and doing all those beautiful yoga poses. So 3 levels of our vinyasa. You can choose to stick with one, you can chop and change, you can maybe work up to 1 to 3, or you can have a bit of 1, bit of 2, bit of 3. You go with what feels right for you. So what we're going to do is come into a tabletop position. So remembering that shoulders above wrists, hips and knees in line. We're just going to move our hands a few inches further forward. We're going to spread our fingers nice and wide, tuck our toes, and as we inhale, we're going to lift our hips up towards the sky into our first downward facing dog. And while we're here, we might want to have a little bit of a pad out of the feet, stretching out through those calves and hamstrings. We've done very little with those today so far. In our technique here, we want our fingers nice and wide. We're aiming to have, if possible, a nice straight line from your hands all the way up to your bottom, with your ears in line with your upper arms, and we are working towards straightening out the legs and bringing the heels down to the mat. And I say working towards because many of us won't be there. Many of us will have bends in legs and heels up. My heels are up, that's absolutely fine. Everybody's flexibility is different. So from here, we're going to go through Vinyasa 1. So to do that, we're going to roll forward into a plank position, drop the knees and curl the toes. Exhale to chaturanga, so lowering ourselves down to the mat, nipping our elbows in towards our ribs. Inhale to do a little mini back bend, a baby cobra. Try not to put too much pressure through the hands, using the muscles in the back to lift the chest up. Our exhale, we're going to come back down to the mat. We're going to curl the toes under, sit back into a child's position, the child's pose, and then nice and fluid, lifting the hips to the sky, up into our downward facing dog. So you can choose to stick with that if you like. Or level 2, we're going to roll forward, drop the knees and uncurl the toes just as we did. Chaturanga, exhaling down to the mat. Inhale into a slightly bigger back bend into our cobra. So I'm pushing more through the hands this time, and my upper thighs and my pelvis have lifted off the mat. My gaze is slightly up towards the corner of the room. Exhale to bring the chest down, tuck the toes, but missing out this time that child's pose. So just coming straight up, hips up to the sky into downward facing dog. That's level 2. Level 3, which will be the most difficult one, come forward into a plank. Don't drop the knees. Lean slightly forward on the toes. Chaturanga, down to the mat. Now you might want to hover, or you might want to come all the way down to the mat, that's fine. But you might want to hover and transition straight into upward facing dog, or drop down to the mat, chest making contact, and then coming into upward facing dog. And by that we mean the weight is through the backs of the feet and the hands. Our shins, knees, thighs, everything are lifted now, gazes up towards the corner of the room. In level 3, we aren't dropping back down to the mat. We're literally just lifting our hips straight up, rolling over the toes into downward facing dog. So you pick your level, you can chop and change. If at any point during this part in the sequence you need to take a rest, go to child's pose, have a few breaths, and then join us. So from here, which is where we will always meet for each cycle of vinyasa, we'll all meet back in downward facing dog. We're going to lift the right leg to the sky, keeping the hips square to the ground, trying to distribute your weight evenly between your hands. And we're going to roll forward and step the right foot between the hands. If you can't step it, give it a bit of a hand with your foot, with your hand, that's fine. Drop the back knee and curl the toes, and inhale to lift the arms up and over the head, trying to keep the hips square and slightly tuck under the tailbone, so you're feeling a lovely pull down this left hand side in the hip. From here, swooping the arms down, framing the foot, curl the toe under, lift that back knee, step the other foot back into your plank, which could be high plank or go down onto knee plank. Work through your vinyasa. So chaturanga down to the mat, back bend of choice, choosing your level and making your way, one of 3 ways, into downward facing dog, where we will all meet each other. From here, lift the left leg to the sky, rolling forward, step the left foot through this time, drop the back knee and curl the toes. Inhale to lift the arms up and over, palms facing each other. Again, trying to square the hips off, tuck that tailbone underneath. Swoop the hands down to frame the foot yet again, lift that toe, tuck it, lift the back knee, step back, and then work through your vinyasa. So chaturanga down to the mat, back bend, and then finding your way to downward facing dog. And you'll see as I'm doing it, I'm chopping and changing my levels. It's absolutely fine, as long as we're all meeting back here. Back to our right side now. So we're going to lift the right leg to the sky, squaring the hips off, equal distribution of weight. We're going to bring our knee in, but this time we're going to step our foot outside of the right hand. Drop the back knee and curl the toes. So this is our lizard pose. And it might be that this is enough for you. You're feeling a really good stretch on that hip and that inner thigh. Or you might want to start lowering your torso, your upper body. So that could be bringing yourself down onto a prop. Or if you choose, and you can, elbows down to the mat. And here we'll probably be rolling our foot on its outside edge. Just feeling that lovely stretch. From here, plant the hands back down again, tuck the back toe, lift the knee, stepping back and working through your vinyasa. So chaturanga, back bend, making our way back into downward facing dog. On the left side now, so lift the left leg to the sky, swoop that foot in but take a step on the outside of the left hand, drop the back knee and uncurl the toe and pick your level. Here, prop or taking yourself down onto the mat with your elbows. Straight away I'm feeling this side is a lot tighter than the other side, but I'm trying to do it the same on both sides if I can, so I can kind of try and create some balance, some equilibrium between the different sides of my body. Coming back up onto the hands now, tucking that back toe, lifting the knee, stepping back and working through my vinyasa. Chaturanga, back bend, back up into downward facing dog. And just taking a couple of cycles of breath here before we go into our next round. Lift the right leg again, making sure we aren't rolling over, we're balancing quite nicely. Swoop that foot through the middle, plant it between the hands. Don't drop the knee this time. We're going to inhale, just swoop the arms up, twist on the back foot to come into warrior one. Checking that base. We did do this in our yin session, but making sure the front foot is facing forward, the left foot is at right angles to it, your knee is over your ankle. If you can't see your big toe on your right foot, your knee's flopped in, try and push it out. Have the hips squared in the direction of the right foot. And inhale to lift the arms up, palms facing each other, tops of the arms in line with your ears. Swoop the arm down to frame the front foot, pivot on the back foot, stepping back into your high plank or knee plank and work through your vinyasa. Chaturanga, back bend, meeting in downward facing dog. On the left leg now, so lifting that leg to the sky, swooping it through the middle, planting it. Inhale to come up into your warrior one. Again, checking that technique. We've got the knee over the ankle, the feet at right angles. Can you see your big toe? Hips square, arms up next to your ears. And swooping those arms down, framing that front foot, stepping back and going through the vinyasa. So chaturanga, back bend, into downward facing dog. So we're going to go through that warrior one sequence again, but build and add onto it. So we're going to lift the right leg, roll forward and sweep it through, and nice and fluid, inhale up into warrior one. From here, on our next exhale, we're going to twist round into warrior two. So doing that, we keep the feet the same, but we change the direction of the hips to the front. Our arms are out, palms are down. Our gaze is over our fingers on our right hand. From here, we're going to lean forward and take our hand down our leg. It could be onto a prop, or you might actually be able to take it in line with your foot. Inhale to swoop the arm up and over, taking your gaze into your armpit, trying to get a nice straight line from that foot at the back all the way through the body to the hand. From here, bring the torso back up right into your warrior two. Swoop the arms around through the front foot, step that foot back and work through your vinyasa. Chaturanga, back bend, into downward facing dog. Taking the left foot to the sky now, rolling that foot forward, stepping the foot between the hands, and we're going to inhale to swoop the hands up into warrior one, hips facing the direction of that left foot. Exhale to come into our warrior two, changing the direction of the pelvis. Arms out now, flat, palms facing down, gaze over your left fingers. And we're going to take that hand down towards the ground onto a prop, and we're going to inhale to swoop our hand up and over. Try to get a nice straight line if we can. And bringing the torso back up right into warrior two before swooping the hands around and working through our vinyasa. So chaturanga, back bend, downward facing dog. So we have one more we're going to try. It's a new move. I do like to throw a little bit of a challenge and a balance in, so we're going to do those both together. So we're going to lift the right foot up to the sky. So we're going to integrate it into our vinyasa. Rolling forward, stepping that foot through the middle. Inhale, up into our warrior one. Exhale, into our warrior two. And from here, we're going to go into our half moon, or have a go at a half moon. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to take our weight round, so we're in a lunge. So we're in a low lunge, so the difference there is that the foot is in the same direction as the back foot's in the same direction as the front foot. And we're going to start just taking our weight forward onto the right foot. And we're going to start coming into a standing splits. You might need to put something in front of you, be it a prop, a table, a chair, anything's fine. Might even want it on this side. And what we're going to do from here is we're going to start trying, and I want to wobble because I'm trying to explain at the same time, opening our hips out towards the front of the room. So turning around our torso, our body, our arm is a very wobbly one. So our body's facing the front now. Like I say, you can hold on to a table or chair if you need to. Some people can get all the way down to the floor. And nice and controlled, turning back into that split, stepping the foot back, planting the hands, bringing the feet to join and working through a chaturanga. So back bend, downward facing dog. As I say, this is our challenge. We're meant to wobble about. It is a work in progress. You again will probably be better on one side than you will on the other. So working through the first bit of our sequence first. So lifting that left leg to the sky, swooping it forward. Inhale into warrior one. Exhale into warrior two. So doing it on the other side now. So twisting. So we're in that low lunge. And when we're ready, just taking the weight forward. You can do little steps or float the leg up. Coming in to that standing splits. Taking your prop in front of you and nice and controlled, open it up. I'm off in the other direction. So you're opening your chest, twisting the body, arms up, legs up, falling. And last challenge, if you've got it, take your gaze up towards that hand at the top. Tricky one. And just coming back down now, taking that step right back, taking the left leg back to join it and working through that vinyasa. So chaturanga, back bend, meeting in our downward facing dog. And we'll just take a few breaths here before going into our relaxation. Nice and gently lowering the knees down to the mat and curling the toes. Sitting back into a child's pose. You might want to put your hands now down by your sides with the palms facing upwards. And just before we go into that relaxation, rolling up, coming onto our backs just for the last few gentle stretches. Rolling yourself down onto the mat, taking your knees up, soles flat on the mat, and taking your right foot up to the sky, that might be enough for you. You might be able to grab a hold of the back of the thigh or the calf and just give it a gentle pull in towards your body. Nothing too extreme. It's just our closing phase now. Lowering that down to the mat, swapping over now, so taking the left foot up, maybe it's giving it a gentle pull in towards your body. And release. One last spinal twist. So this time we'll take the left leg down flat at the floor, the right foot up, shin parallel at the ground, arms out flat, and we'll just roll over to the left hand side, looking over the right hand. It is a bit more difficult with one leg in that your knee may not be touching or anywhere near the ground. That's absolutely fine. You can give it a bit of a hand if you want, just by putting the weight of your hand on top of it, but really try and keep your shoulders pressed into the mat as opposed to focusing on getting that knee down. Releasing that, coming back through centre. Let's swap the legs. So we've got the left one up, now the right one down on the mat, and rolling over to the right hand side, taking your gaze over the left hand. Again, pushing your shoulders into the mat. If you want, using the weight of your hand on your left knee. And coming back through centre, bringing both feet up now. Favourite to finish. The soles of your feet to the sky, wider than hip distance apart, and grabbing hold of your feet either by the inside or the outside, and just giving them a gentle pull in towards your ribs. And maybe having just a little rock from side to side in our happy baby posture. Lovely. And when you're ready, lower your feet, and I'm going to ask that you make your way back up, just nice and gently, into a comfortable seated position, where we're going to go through our final relaxation. So making yourself comfortable, whether that be crossed legs, legs out in front of you, hands resting on your knees for now, and just start focusing back on your breathing. So slowing that breathing down. We might be getting our heart rate up a little bit there, want to bring it back down again. If you can, sealing up the lips and breathing back in through the nose and out through the nose as well. And I'm just going to go through this a bit of visualization as well, and it's called Kuli Mudra. So, sat in your comfortable position, bring the palms together at the chest. If your eyes aren't closed already, just gently close the eyes. Cross the left thumb over the right and continue crossing them over until all of your fingers are crossed. Extend the index fingers so that fingertips touch. This represents the sword of Durga, who slays illusions. We will use this mudra to lift the veil of negative illusions we have about ourselves and build our inner strength. Tap into these stories we tell ourselves, the veils of negativity that cover up our true strength and inner greatness. Illusions of negative thoughts, illusions of self-doubt, illusions of fear. As these veils lift, we peel back the layers and uncover who we are at our core. Our true self resides here. Our raw primal force of nature and strength reside here. This strength may feel quite apparent. It may feel easy to connect with. Or your inner strength may feel quite small right now, like a little seed. No matter the size, it's there. As our heart lies in our chest, our inner strength is at our core. Now use your inhalation to build your inner strength, like stoking the flames of a fire or encouraging an ember to glow. Let the warm, fiery energy move from your core and begin to spread around your body, drawing courage to the heart and wisdom to the mind, and strength to stand in your truth and shine in your unique magnificence. And just sat in this position now, we're just going to take a few lovely, nice, cleansing breaths to finish the session. So I'm going to take a nice deep breath in and let it go. And again, breathing in and let it go. One more, breathing it in and let it go. And when you're ready, just gently blink and open the eyes. I hope everybody enjoyed that session. I hope your upper bodies feel lovely and limber. Thanks for joining me and hope to see you again. Namaste.